Coming up next, the number one habit of truly successful people, and then thousands of workers are opting to get fired. Why? We'll tell you. And of course, we're going to take your calls, and it starts right now. All right, folks, welcome to the Ken Coleman Show. Thrilled to have you with us. We're here to discuss you, specifically what you were born to do. You were, in fact, created to contribute through your work. There's a unique role that you're supposed to fill in this world at work. That means you're needed, and it means you must do it. And so that's the conversation we have today. If you're listening, watching the show live just after 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, or you're watching later, I want to assure you that if you're in the bucket of people who I'm not quite sure what it is I want to do with my life, I don't know what it is I was created to do at work, or you know what it is, you have a pretty good idea, but you don't know how to get there, or you know both of those things. You know what you're supposed to do, you know how to get there, but fear, finances, or family are holding you back. You're welcome here. You're not alone. You're not the only person to be in those buckets, and there's a way out. There's a clear path. We're going to walk you through those 7 stages based on where you are and tell you what to do next. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. 844-747-2577. So what's the number one habit of successful people? I mean, real successful people. I'm not talking about just money and they're a mess in other areas of their life. I'm talking about full, whole success. What's the number one habit? What would you say? Giving you a little silence here as you're watching now or later. What would you say is the most important habit? The number one premium habit of successful people. All right, so you've given your answer. You've got a couple ideas in your head. I'm going to tell you what it is. Without question, it is gratitude. It's not grit. It's not talent. It's not passion. It's gratitude. And let me just tell you something. Gratitude's not easy. It's naturally a byproduct when things are going great. But truly successful people are only successful because they've managed to make it through the storm. They've stood tall. They've hunkered down. Whatever they needed to do in the times of storms. That's failure and fear and doubt. Being rejected. Being betrayed. Those are the storms. And truly successful men and women, they stay in the game. So in the storm, they hunker down, they grab a tree, they do whatever. Sometimes they suffer in the storm, but they get up after the storm. You pick all the analogies, all the things. The reality is that they stay with it. But what allows them to stay with it? And I will tell you, it's gratitude. And it's hard to be grateful in the storm. It's just hard. So let's break down the gratitude. What are they grateful for? Well, number one, they're grateful for the opportunity to pursue the thing that drives them. They're grateful for the opportunity to get to do it. They're also grateful for the people that have put them in the place they're in to have the opportunity. So it's really about, they're grateful for the opportunity, the talent, the passion, the mission that they have to go do the thing. They're grateful for the chance to pursue it. They're grateful for the people that have put them in position to be able to pursue it. They're grateful for the people who have promoted them, believed in them. That's gratitude. That's the 2 ways that truly successful people never lose sight of being grateful. Because absent of gratitude, you'll screw it up. You'll screw it up by quitting. There will not be grit. There will not be patience, all the things that you need. But gratitude, a truly thankful heart, is what makes the truly successful successful. They never lose sight of the privilege that they have. It's a gratitude that affects everything they do. It is the foundation that they build on, gratitude. One of my favorite images, let's throw this up on the screen. I don't know if you've ever seen this on the internet or whatever, but you've heard someone teach on it. This idea, is it coming? It's coming. All right. The idea is if you've ever seen a turtle on top of a fence post, the conclusion that you come to is that it didn't get there by itself, right? Let's look at that guy for a second. Now, that turtle's got some great tools to survive and thrive in his environment, but sitting on top of a wood fence post is not his environment. He didn't scale that. That turtle was put there by somebody. Be a turtle on a fence post. If you want to be truly successful and truly appreciate everything you get to do, the journey itself, you got to have the mindset of that turtle who's on the fence post. That turtle knows I didn't get here by myself. And that is the key to truly having gratitude. It's a reminder. There are times where my gratitude meter is higher than others, just like yours. I mean, that's just the reality of the game, right? Or in seasons where you're down, your gratitude's not really high. But when you're down, I have found, this is just me, okay, I'm just gonna share with you from my guts today. When I get in seasons when I'm down, and I do, really, Ken? You're in your dream job, you say. Yeah, I get down. I get discouraged. In my professional life, in my personal life, I get discouraged. I get down. And I will tell you that the key for me is that I'll be wallowing in my self-pity, right? It's like picture Eeyore under a tree by himself having a pity party, all right? And I get all Eeyore. And the way I snap out of it is I stop looking at my circumstances. I stop wallowing in my emotions, and I pull myself out to say, wow, just because I'm down, because this didn't turn out the way I wanted to turn out, or whatever the situation is, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. And I start to go through the list. And I've got this little gratitude list on my iPad that I look at. I look at it every morning. But how many of you do something from a ritual and sometimes you just you aren't totally checked in? And boy, I'll find myself, I look at it every morning, but then I'll find myself maybe in the afternoon, the evening or whatever, and I'm just in a down place. And I need to start to focus on what I'm grateful for. Boy, I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful for this, and wow, I'm really grateful for this. And watch what happens. As I begin to focus on what I'm grateful for, I begin to verbalize and express my gratitude, watch, to myself. I share what I'm grateful for, but then I find ways to share gratitude to somebody else. And I can quickly get out of my Eeyore-ness. If I send a text to somebody or write a thank you note, hey, thanks for this. Thanks for this. And all of a sudden, my eyes get off of the thing that's discouraging me or it's got me down, and my eyes focus on something that I'm so incredibly grateful for. And I realize it ain't as bad as I thought. Oh, the thing is bad. I don't want to minimize this, folks. This isn't Pollyanna positivity. I mean, this thing over here can suck, but I can also still be grateful. I can be grateful in the midst of the suck. Can we say that? Now, there's some depth. Somebody ought to tweet that. But can I just, that's just real. Can we just talk real? My goal is to always talk real to you folks and not do all this slick talk. Just shoot you straight. Learn to be grateful in the suck. That's pretty good. I like the way that sounds. It doesn't sound great, which is why I like the way it sounds. Be grateful in the suck, because that is what keeps you in the game. And some days, the gratitude just holds me still, holds me in the storm. Some days, the gratitude propels me forward. I don't know what it's going to do for you, and I don't know how it's going to manifest itself, but I do know that it is gratitude that is the ultimate habit of successful people. You need to practice the habit of gratitude. So come up with a list, put it on your mirror, get a marker and write it on your mirror, put it on your closet wall, have somebody that holds you accountable, get into a text string for 10 days. I'm going to text my best pal 5 things I'm grateful for each day. I don't care what it is, but begin to develop the muscle, the habit, the the discipline of expressing gratitude, and watch what happens in your life. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Jonathan to start us off today in Cincinnati, Ohio. Jonathan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. What's up?
I was wondering, after quite a bit of debate here, I decided to enter the job field or start looking for something else in the job field. And I'm going through the interview process. And right now I'm gainfully employed. And I was wondering, is 2 weeks notice enough? I'm a lead design engineer on 4 or 5 projects right now at my current company. And I'd feel really bad just severing that too abruptly.
Yeah, but are you thinking that 2 weeks is too abrupt?
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
Well, no. I know.
There'd be a lot of loose ends.
I know you're asking me, but I'm also trying to get behind why you're asking me. So, we'll play. I'll play your way. I'm still going to make you answer that question. So my answer is 2 weeks is enough. Now, why do you feel like 2 weeks isn't enough?
I just look at how active I am on the team and what portion I feel like I'm contributing, and I feel like that it'd leave a real hole when I leave.
Okay, and I'm not minimizing that at all, but those are 2 different questions. So the question I think you're really asking me is, Ken, if I offer 2 weeks, how can I leave well? Because there's a lot on me. I feel like that's the question you should be asking. Fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, great. Now I'll answer that one too. So what are some processes that you need to detail out? Is it a 3-ring binder of 10 pages of stuff you need to put in to say, hey, this is how the person, if they come in that replaces me, here's how they can hit the ground running. Here's some manuals, some things that I've put together as helpful tips for the person who replaces me. I would ask you, what could you do in that area? I would also ask you to think about what needs to be transferred to somebody else now, or what would the process be upon the moment that you resign in 2 weeks, as if it's a a ticking clock. Okay, what do you need to do? Think of it ahead of time to be able to ease the transition. In your 2 weeks, here are the priorities. And if I do this and I transfer this, complete this, eliminate this, whatever it is, like if you think through a plan like that and you present that upon resigning, could that make it a lot easier as opposed to just walking in and going, hey, I'm out? I mean, you have to answer that. But I think, I got this actually on Instagram. I saw this morning. Somebody said, hey, Ken, how do you feel about the phrase, no one's irreplaceable? Because I kind of think I'm irreplaceable, and I kind of chuckled to myself because I didn't want to burst her bubble. But I understand what she's asking. There's a difference between valuable and irreplaceable. And I got news for you, Jonathan. I know you're tremendously valuable. I believe that, but you're not irreplaceable. So I think, what can you do to ease the transition? That becomes your number one goal. And I think if you do that, then 2 weeks is enough. But let me also say this. If the new job will allow you a flexible start time and you feel like you want to offer 4 weeks, great, do it if you can. But you shouldn't feel guilty if you cannot. Am I addressing this issue?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty good context.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
There you go, my man. Hey, no guilt. You're a good guy. You've been very valuable to them. Yes or no?
Yes.
But
definitely.
this is a great opportunity for you. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Are you irreplaceable, Jonathan?
No.
No, you are not. And I got breaking news for everybody else out there who feels bad about leaving. Leave the right way. Fill in the blank on what that looks like for you. I trust you, folks. You're good, decent, high character men and women. Do what you would want someone to do for you and then let it go. Because the world is not going to stop spinning because you left. Oh, did you hear? Jonathan resigned. We're going to have to shut the whole company down. Nobody's going to say that. I'm not poking fun at you, Jonathan. I'm just, like, when I say that, there's people out in the lobby, everybody in the control room just laughed. Because it was absurd. The reason you people are laughing is because it's absurd. It wasn't even that funny. It was the fact that it's absurd that made you laugh. But that's what Jonathan is feeling. And I'm not poking fun at Jonathan. I'm just pointing out that we humans think absurd thoughts. And when we don't call in the Ken Coleman Show, I'll take on your absurdities. What happens? I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. No matter how absurd something is, if you repeat it often enough, you'll believe it, and so will other people. William James said that. Psychology founding father. I didn't say it. He said it. He's right. Get the absurdities out of your head. Talk to somebody, and are they true or are they absurd? And that's an example. Well, I've got a great opportunity in my life to further my dreams, to make more money, to help my family, but I don't know if I should take it, because if I leave this other company, then I am going to be the sole factor for its destruction. The livelihood of everybody that works for them is in danger because of how, well, I'm pretty awesome. And I'm holding this guilt. What do? I'm going to shut a company down. I'm going to put people out in the street, Ken, good people, if I pursue my purpose. I thought I'd go to the next level there. I thought I would take the thought and truly play it out. And now, how ridiculous is it? They're going to be fine. It's not your problem. You're supposed to live on purpose. Go do it. Okay? And by the way, the reason I'm spending a little bit extra time on this is because we get this call on a regular basis. There is huge guilt that I hear from people associated with pursuing what they were created to do. I get it, but it's ridiculous. 844-747-2577. Erica's up next in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Erica, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
My question is, I was wondering if it makes sense for me to go back to school for something that might not always have a guaranteed salary.
Okay, tell me more.
So I'm thinking about going back for an esthetician, which is like skincare, but it's not always like a stable salary. It kind of goes up and down. I guess it just depends on your clientele.
Is that because it's kind of like a hairdresser? I mean, they're kind of relying on how many clients they've got and the regularity by which they're coming in.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me kind of throw it back at you. Let's say you were talking to a girlfriend today, and she said to you, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to school to be a hairdresser," or whatever you call them now. And is that what you call them? Ladies in the lobby? What do you call it? Your hairdresser? I don't know, whatever. Okay. So bottom line is, she tells you this, and you go, "Oh, that's really great." You go, "Yeah, I've always wanted to do it, and I can go to this school, and I can be ready to go, and there's a place locally where I can rent a chair and all the things. I can get going." But the problem is, it's like, I got to kind of build the business, and it might be not steady for a while. What would you tell her?
I would still tell her to do it.
Why? Why would you tell her to do it?
If it's something that she wants to do, then she should go for it.
Interesting. Boy, you just gave yourself great advice, Erica. I tricked you. No, I didn't. Erica, are you good at this work? Good at what it takes to be an esthetician?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you love the work? High emotion, high devotion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me why.
I like helping people, and I like making people feel good about themselves.
Oh, there it is.
I think that's why.
That's the missional result. We just walked through talent, passion, mission in the Get Clear Career Assessment that we've developed at kencoleman.com. You would have scored high on service. That would have been your number one missional results, serving others. You want to make a woman feel prettier. You want to make her feel shinier. You want her to walk out of your session, her shoulders back, feeling like she's got some sass, right? That's my pathetic way of describing it, because I'm a dude, but that's what you want to produce, yes?
Yes.
All right, then. So do you believe in yourself that you can do that for women?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No, I don't like that word think. Let me ask you that again. Do you believe you can do that for women?
Yes. I believe I can do it.
Yes. Yeah. And so here's the deal. when I started this radio show, I'd never done callers on the air before. The methodology was in me, but I didn't have a ton of experience. And I had to get to the point, I had some self-doubt too. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Especially after I listened to my first couple shows. I was like, oh boy, feel like I didn't help that person as much as I would like. But you know what it came down to for me, Erica? I believed that I was going to get better the more calls I took. I believed that my methodology would help men and women get clear and thus be confident about who they are. I believed it.
Mm-hmm.
I still do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so that means I'm not going to stop until I make it. And I think that's your deal. You don't stop until this thing becomes a full-time gig. And the point where you stop adding clients is when you can't do anymore. And then maybe you hire some other young gal who wants to be like you. But you can do this. This isn't a function of can. It's a function of will you do it. And you are going to do it, aren't you, Erica?
Yeah, I am.
All right, good. This phone call is over. We got to stop talking and start doing. You know what our problem is? And I'm speaking to Ken Coleman too. You know what my problem is? It's your problem. I get these big dreams. And folks, I got some big ones. Like, I'm in the dream job, but we're scheming and dreaming to help more people than we're already helping. I am not even close to doing and delivering the things and the impact that I want to deliver. I'm scared out of my mind. Well, I'm just getting real today. Okay? But you know what my problem is? I'll talk about it. I talk about it over here. Hey, I'm really excited about doing this. I'm excited. I need to start doing it, right? At some point, after we've dreamed it, we need to stop dreaming and stop talking about it and start to put ourselves out there. It's scary. It's unbelievably raw and vulnerable to kind of think the things we think and dream the things we dream and then start to put action to it. It's scary and it's got all these things attached to it. But here's the reality. If your heart is overflowing and it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up, if you don't start doing it and working your way towards it, embracing the failure, embracing the suck that's going to come with it, if you don't do that, you will never move on it and you will reach the end of your life and be a cold and timid soul who sat on the bleachers and watched everybody else do it. I don't know about you. That's not how I want to live. Life's too short. I've just seen, I'm 47. I don't know if I got tomorrow. That's the reality. I really don't. I'm not trying to be dramatic here. I'm not trying to be scary. I'm just telling you, none of us today knows if we have tomorrow. What's the impact you want to make? Why do you want to make it? At some point, it's going to get to this, folks. What I'm talking about here is not just a job and a successful career. I'm going to help you make more money. I'm going to help you get promoted. But at the end of the day, when I get a call like that, it comes down to how much do you want to serve women in that capacity? You got to decide. And if the answer is a whole lot, then you better do it, or that juice that I like to call is going to turn acidic. It's going to just eat you alive if you don't do it. I'm just talking from experience. That's not an opinion. That's experience. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Okay. Folks that are watching live, if you're in the Nashville area or you're close to Nashville and you want to come up for a super fun experience, here's the deal. We are doing a From Paycheck to Purpose. That's the new book. Comes out November 9th. On November 11th, we're doing a live event here. Super small, exclusive audience. I want it to be a super intimate room, and it's going to be super fun. So I think it's like 20. I haven't even asked. It's like 20 to 30 seats is all we're allowing in. But if you would like to get a free ticket to it, call the show, 844-747-2577, like right now. Also, if you're watching live on YouTube, I'm going to offer to them too. if you want to jump in on this and you're watching live on YouTube, just put in the comment section what you are passionate about. That's it. So you can call in right now. You don't even have to ask a question. You go, Ken, I'm passionate about blank, and you say it. And we're going to give you, I guess we're giving away 2 free tickets to the event along with a copy of the new book. So call the show right now, 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. I got to tell you, Basic Platypus is watching live. Great username, by the way, on YouTube. I'm looking at the chat room right here. And I was doing that rant, and Basic Platypus said, yikes, I'm already a timid soul. Whew. I love that courage. I love that. But here's the good news, Basic Platypus. You may be timid soul right now, but we can turn you into a fire-breathing soul. How about that? Come on. Come on. Thanks for tuning in and joining in the chat room. That's pretty vulnerable stuff. I love that. 844-747-2577 is the number. Okay, quick break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Boy, big headline here. How many people are quitting or getting fired because they won't get the vaccine? We're going to dive in. We got the numbers next. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you move from paycheck to purpose. We want you to make the fat paycheck, but we also want you to make a massive contribution through your work as well. And that's what everybody longs for. I mean, if you think about it, I work because I need to provide, but I also work because I want to contribute. From Paycheck to Purpose is the new book, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love. We're going to do a deep dive in the 7 stages. This is a deeply practical book. For those of you that bought the Proximity Principle, you know my books are not motivational in nature. They are highly, highly practical in what you need to do, and I tell you exactly how to do it as well. So KenColeman.com to pre-order the book. Gosh, it's going to be here before you know it. Comes out before you know it. So very exciting stuff. All right. So what's going on? Is there going to be a federal mandate? We don't know. I read the news today. Maybe Biden pushes it back. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. But there is a reality where a lot of private organizations are going ahead and mandating the vaccine. So I want to dive into this in the news. All right. So there is, let me point this out before I dive into this. The vaccine is like the plutonic subject. I mean, you want to freak out a cocktail party, go in there and go, hey, everybody, what's your position on the vaccine? And watch everybody just shrink or lose their mind, right? It's just, boy, oh boy. So before I go into this, if I don't, in reading a news article and some of the key facts, if I say something or don't say something that you just are disappointed with me on, I got news for you. I'll never see your negative comment. So spare yourself, you keyboard warriors, because I'm being very objective. I'm just reporting what's in the news. And this source is from NPR. So, oh boy, all the conservatives are going to be mad at me about that. And who knows what the libs are going to say. So this is not a political issue. I'm just telling you, this is a worker issue. So here we go. Thousands of workers are opting to get fired rather than take the vaccine. This is from NPR. For 33 years, Carl Bonak worked at his dream job delivering weather forecasts in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. He became so popular that that's what Carl says became a slogan at his station in the 1990s. But his time as chief meteorologist for the news station, TV6, came to an abrupt end last month. He was fired after refusing to comply with the vaccine mandate imposed by his station's corporate owner, Gray Television. Bonak said, I did not want to take the shot. I felt it was my right as a human being and a citizen of the U.S. to decide what I put in my body. Now, big headline, right? What are the real numbers? It's only 1% in most workplaces. Tiny fraction of overall employees that are getting fired over the vaccine. But when you start looking at this tiny percentage across all 50 states, well, now you're talking about thousands of people. Washington State reports nearly 1,900 state workers, including, I don't know if you saw this, if you're not a college football fan. I'm a big college football fan, so I saw this. But last week, they had to fire the Washington State University head football coach. I mean, this is the moneymaker, folks. Guy's the head coach. Wouldn't get it. They fired him. In Michigan, 400 workers at the Henry Ford Health System in Detroit walked away from their jobs. North Carolina-based Novant Health fired about 175 employees, and the list goes on and on and on. So we've gotten several of these calls over the last few months where people are calling me going, Ken, what should I do? Let me stipulate. I'm not giving anybody advice or my opinion on what they should do with their health. I'm just not. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what you should do. Other than I say you should consult your doctor. Probably a good place to start. And then you decide what you want to do based on what your doctor tells you. That's where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to get into this, folks. I'm not going to argue with you for 2 seconds. Last time I said this on the air, somebody called in. A lady called in and said, Ken, I'm going to get fired, and I need some advice on what to do because it's coming. And so I'll give advice on let's prepare for this financially, professionally. I'll help you with that. Got hammered. We showed the clip on Instagram. Got hammered. Well, it's always about 3 or 4 people. They're very brave behind the keyboard. The courage these people display when I'm not in the room with them. I mean, fiery darts coming at me left and right, lit me up because I should have told her that she needed to take it for her fellow man. Well, I am not an epidemiologist. I'm not a doctor. I haven't even played one on TV, although I always wanted to. I always felt like I would love to put on the green scrubs and the white lab coat and walk around with a clipboard and act very smart. I thought that would be fun. Never done it. And so I'm not going to do it today. So there you go. Spare me the objections, spare me the opinions. By the way, since I'm on the topic, you know what one of the things wrong with our society today is that social media has made cowards courageous. This is free content here for the show. It's not in the notes. Alex, the producer's getting nervous. Social media has made cowards courageous. Here's what I mean. Both sides of the aisle, just so everybody knows I'm being fair. Conservatives, liberals, progressives, independents, I don't care what side. I'm telling you, social media has made cowards courageous. Because these cowards, very few of them, would actually say what they say in a comment box or in an email or whatever they're doing. Very few of them would say it to my face or to your face. But because we can sit back hundreds, thousands of miles away, say something so nasty and inhuman and type it up and hit go and fire it at somebody with no consequences, because that's what social media is. No consequences. You can say whatever you want to, and there's no awkwardness. And these very same people are afraid to go in and quit their job because of the confrontation necessary to do that. But they're brave behind a keyboard. And I mean, to tell you something, folks, this is a cultural thing. We gotta wake up. We have lost our humanness because of social media, because we can criticize and just denigrate and be nasty with no consequence. But if you say that on the playground, you say that in the hallway at the office, you don't have the guts to say it. You don't have the guts to say it. Not the way you say it online. So can I just challenge all of you? Before you fire the next criticism on social media, why don't you go, how would I say this if I was looking at them? Eyeball to eyeball. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Watch the John Wayne disappear. Then we turn into Pee Wee Herman. You know, all these people are Pee Wee Hermans in real life. Boy, they look like John Wayne in the comment section. Psh, I get it. I got it. I figured you folks out. I figured it out. And listen, folks, it is slowly killing the soul of our humanity by the ease at which we just judge somebody and are nasty. I mean, it's elementary school stuff. It's really that immature. Come on, folks. Grow up. 844-747-2577 is the number. Real quick, for those of you that are thinking about jumping into this great resignation, now's the time. It's a hot, hot time. You better know when to catch the wave. But some of you are going, oh, it's gross, it's nasty, putting myself out there, resumes, all that, Ken. I feel like I'm wasting my time and I don't hear anything back. That's why I've partnered with ZipRecruiter, #1 job site in the United States. Their candidates are 3 times as likely to get hired. All you do is go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Takes a couple minutes to fill out a profile and attach your resume. They start taking that and pitching you to jobs that match up. Job descriptions that match up with your profile, your resume, your desires. They give you updates when you get looks, likes, and requests for your contact info. They let companies contact you directly. This is a great strategy to add to what I'm teaching you. Did I mention it's free? So I'm not even asking you folks to buy something. So for those of you who started rolling their eyes, oh, Ken's out there endorsing something again. Hey, listen, 2 things. My kids need shoes just like yours. And number 2, I'm not asking you to buy anything. It's free. Why wouldn't you do that? ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Go today. People out in the lobby were like, really? His kids need shoes? It's just a line, folks. Everybody relax. There you go. 844-747-2577. Let's get one more call in. Ryan joins us in Dallas, Texas. Ryan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
Well, so I'm about 2 years out since my graduation and about 1.5 years out since I got laid off as a result of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally starting to see some of the positions in the aerospace field open back up.
Mm-hmm.
And being entry-level low man on the totem pole, I'm wondering how do I positively approach the vaccine requirement with the hiring manager when I intend to get an exemption and can do that without coming off as a problem candidate.
So you can get an exemption? You feel confident you're going to get an exemption? You're saying you want to ask about the exemption, but not sabotage your opportunity. Explain that.
Sure. Well, so I still have some conversations to be had with my doctor in terms of a medical exemption. I have been looking into the possibility of a religious exemption as well. However, I am aware that a number of people have already attempted religious exemption and have been denied.
At this company?
Yes.
Well, then I got to tell you, man, take that card off the table. So that's gone. The religious exemption card's gone. If you know there's no track record, because I will tell you, I talked about it on the show last week, that I have a friend who played the religious exemption option. It was real in her mind. It was absolutely real. She wasn't faking it. But the point is she played the card. She said, I'm playing. And the company gave it to her. But she was in a high demand position. So I would say if there's not a high demand to where you think they might just be willing to do that and give you that, don't do it. And now you've got a track record here. So let's move on from that. I just don't think it's a good play. So how soon will you know from your doctor as to his medical opinion on whatever pre-existing conditions you have that would then make the vaccine maybe a risk for you?
I don't have a timeline on that. And to clarify what I was saying about the denial of religious exemption, it's not a consistent thing. Some people have been granted it, some people haven't. I haven't been aware of any pattern that exists.
Okay. Do you have a legitimate,
true.
If you were behind closed doors today and you were asked to explain your religious exemption, can you do that with conviction?
I can do it with conviction on the basis of conscience.
Okay. But here's my point. I'm not going to get into that with you. It becomes too much of a gray area for me. I'm just going to tell you where I fall on that. If you're going to apply for a religious exemption, then you need to have your freaking convictions clearly stated. Other than that, you're just playing a card. And I'm okay if you decide to do that too. I'm not going to judge you, but I'm not going to comment on it. I'm going to tell you what I think you ought to do. You ought to have it down, cold, and believe in it. Now, on the medical thing, you need to get that done, because your question for me is, I go into this interview process, and when do I bring it up? I wouldn't bring it up until they've made you the offer, is my answer. Because bringing it up now, it's kind of like, it's like going on a first date with a gal and start talking about all the qualities you're looking for in a mate. It's like, dude, we don't even know if she likes you, much less loves you. Don't talk about it on the first date. I think that's my rule of thumb. Are you with me?
Sure. Absolutely.
So go through the interview process, walk through it, and I would get your homework done with your doctor. I'd have that doctor's appointment pretty quick. I'd move on that, and let's get to the point where they offer you. And once they've extended the offer, and if they haven't brought up the vaccine, then you bring it up. If they bring it up along the way, then you're going to have to address it. So I would get my work done, is what I'm saying. And then I would play my cards, because this comes down to how big of a deal is it? Are you willing to turn down the job over the vaccine?
Understood.
No.
Clarify,
you didn't answer my question. Are you willing to turn down the job because of the vaccine?
If they're going to require me to get the vaccine, yes.
Okay, then. So that, to me, makes all the rest of this super simple. So you talk about it when they bring it up, and you just tell them.
Sure.
And then it's just part of the deal.
So that's actually my question is, can you give me some examples of things I might say when I do address it with them that could be more positive, instead of potentially putting them in a position to think that I'm just going to be a problem candidate?
I appreciate your question, but it's not about being a problem candidate. It's about when they bring it up, if they've mandated it, and you said they have. So it's going to come up in the interview process. You're not a problem candidate. You are no longer a candidate unless you convince them otherwise. And you've got your religious exemption option, and you said it's kind of has worked, hasn't worked for some. So you're playing that risk. And then you got your medical exemption. If your doctor can write a note going, because of these pre-existing conditions, I think the vaccine is highly risky, and you can present that to them, that's the way I would go. But that doesn't make you a problem candidate. It's just you're going, I want to work here. I could be a valuable candidate, but there's some health risk, and my doctor has verified this, and so I'm just sharing this with you. I'm not trying to be a problem. I'm just saying I don't feel comfortable taking the vaccine, nor does my doctor think it's the best move. That's the play. But that doesn't make you a problem candidate. It just means you're being open and honest. And again, if you play the religious exemption card, again, you're not a problem candidate. You are telling them this is my thing, and they get to decide yay or nay. So you see what I'm saying? You've already told me what I needed to know and what you need to remind yourself. You're willing to pass if they're going to make you do it. So then you got to live with that. You understand?
Okay. It just means that I'm potentially putting myself in a position where I can't ever get into the aerospace industry.
Yeah. That's exactly right. But again, you got to decide. You got to decide what's more important.
My dream job or my conscience?
Yeah. At this point in time,
doesn't seem
yes.
like much of a choice.
Well, do you have a legit? All right, I'm going to take a little extra time with you because I feel like you're making this too complex. And my job is to simplify. And I get the position you're in. I get that you feel like conscience or dream job. Hey, brother, I'm always going to choose conscience. Okay, let me explain. There was a time in history where Christians were killed for their faith. So they were choosing their faith or their life. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
So you've essentially so that's conscience. That's them saying, I'm not going. I mean, they were literally burned at the stake. This is historical. Okay, let's go to war times. Okay, I had the privilege to interview John McCain, Senator John McCain, one of the great heroes that America's ever known. And I interviewed him about his experience in the Vietnamese prisons. And they came into him, Ryan, and they said, if you will sign this statement, okay, saying that America is wrong, saying that you did all these things that he didn't do, we will send you home. He wouldn't do it. So he was choosing between principle and his health and even his life. He didn't know if he was ever going to make it out of there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Benjamin Franklin's quote about giving up a bit of liberty for security deserves neither liberty nor security kind of falls in line.
Okay, so I'm trying to just say, look, man, I know you're going, I don't feel like I have much of a choice. Well, sometimes in life we don't have a choice. But that's your call, not my call. So I'm trying to just bolster you to go, you're not the only person that's ever had to deal with this, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. I really am. But I'm always going to come back to the practical. If you think you've got a legitimate health scare, I would be all over my doctor. I would
Absolutely.
be like, when can I
and
get
I'm
in
hoping
there?
that's the way I can go.
Well, go for it, man. How about the dream and principle? How about that? I choose that first. I'm going to exhaust all options. But then at the end of the day, principle matters. Principle matters. You got to decide how much it matters to you. And I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. One last example on this. I know I'm going long, but my name's on the screen. I have a friend who I had dinner with last week, has up to this point been philosophically, medically, all the things opposed to getting the vaccine. However, his 91-year-old mother is failing in health, and she lives abroad, and he cannot see her. He cannot go overseas and enter this country, his homeland, to see his mother maybe for the last time, most likely for the last time. Can't do it unless he gets the vaccine. What do you do? What do you do in that situation? Okay? You know what he did? He got it. But he had to weigh it. What do I want to do here? I want to see my mom or this. And it sucks. I hate that people are being put in this position. But at the end of the day, weigh it and do what you think is right in that moment. Do I think, here's why I shared that story. Do I think for a second that he is all of a sudden changed his principles and he whatever? No. I think that he was forced with a very impossible situation and he chose to see his mom. So whatever objections he had to the vaccination, he got over them to go see his mom. So, there is no right or wrong answer is where I'm going on this. In my opinion, it's your right. It's your wrong in this particular situation. I'm not going to argue right or wrong for anybody because you've got your right, you've got your wrong in this situation. And so there you go. Just I hope that helps. You got to do what you got to do, and you got to live with it, and you got to be okay with it. And can I just say this last parting shot on all this? We live in a world today where the greatest fear, I think collectively in our culture, the whole globe, I think the greatest fear is the fear of being criticized. And I think we are sadly in a place right now in our culture where we would rather be in the majority than we would be right, whatever right is, because we don't want to be criticized. And I just don't think that's a way to live. I'm going to do what's right, not what's in the majority. That's my play. For you, you do you. All right, I got to get out of here. But before I do, remember this. You matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you for joining us. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.